Okay, so we're back with my man Joey Allen, the hotepper you love to hate.
Yes.
And he's going to give us the male perspective on child support and put aside any type of misconceptions or myths, just like we had the ladies do. So we're going to go ahead and give Joey Allen the floor. I'm going to ask him some questions. And we're going to get right into it. It's Barbershop Talk. What's up, man?
Oh, man. You know, I hear the ladies' perspective on child support is that everything's fair. You know, the really messed up thing about this whole argument is that arguing against child support sounds like arguing against taking care of your kids, right?
Precisely.
And let's start from that standpoint. Every man that has a child should provide for that child. Let's just start there. But when it comes to the child support, laws, I mean, they are completely unfair. You know what I mean? Like my personal experience, I had my daughter, and so when I had my daughter, I after about a year or so, I moved away. But during that time, I was with the mother, right? And so a year goes by, she puts me on child support. They automatically assume that I'm in the rears 2 years. Because I didn't have any proof because we were together. So there was no need to give her receipts at that point, right? Why would you give your woman a money order so you could keep the receipt? Like that would just seem like really like, you know what I mean? That's not going to be healthy for your relationship. So I had no proof at that point that I had been paying anything, although I had been doing something for my daughter, of course. And so they automatically out the gate assume that I'm 2 years in the hole. You know what I mean? So when they put the child support order on, and at the time, you know, like I said, I didn't have any money for lawyers. Like, man, do you know what it takes to fight and go into child support hearings and all that kind of stuff? And look, before I begin, I do want to shout out to my daughter's mother. She is a great person, and this doesn't have anything to do with her personally. This just has to do with how the system is set up. And it's not geared towards our advantage, right? So when she puts the child support order on again, they automatically assume that I'm in the hole 2 years. So they put the order on, and then they put the extra amount on my enforcement order because I was in the rears, right? And so this is a number that I didn't arbitrate. I didn't come up with this number. Where'd this number come from, right? Who came up with this stat about how much this child needs in order to survive, right? And so look, when they put the order on, I had a fairly decent job, right? And so there is no recourse for us. Like, look, like I said, if you're a man and you can't take care of your kids or you're struggling to take care of your kids, you're a deadbeat. You're a bum, right? If a woman can't, she has the world available to her. Man, look, they will give her all kind of stuff from food to housing to, daycare. They'll help provide all of that stuff. With us, we get nothing. So if you're struggling and you're in a bad situation, where's your help coming from?
You better man up.
You better man up and do what, right? Yeah, right. And so,
Figure it out.
I guess that's the choice that they leave you.
Sure.
So that already sets an unfair standard right there.
Is to be a man.
Is that
that's the answer.
But okay, so why don't they have that same standard for the woman? Because we are equal, right? This is 50-50, right, ladies? You want equal rights? This is what equal rights looks like. It should look like equally that if you can't take care of your kids, lady, how about those kids go to the daddy instead of you getting assistance and making you woman up and get a job and pay him child support? I would love to see this work in the opposite. Because look, the courts automatically assume that the child is better off with the mother. Right out the gate. Ladies, that's unfair. Yeah. Right out the gate, that is an unfair standard.
Wait, hold on.
Who proved?
You mean to tell me?
What evidence shows that that child is better off with you than me?
You mean to tell me that there is no male privilege when it comes to child support, Joey Allen?
We're going to get into that, Josh. I do think there's a smidge of it, but, there are some situations. It doesn't work in every situation. It's like, people act like, there's no racism in that. Things are pretty equal in that. White people don't have it. It's not that white people don't get it bad. Yeah, there are plenty of white people who get it horrible in this country, but they have a more of an advantage.
But being male
situations,
but being male
gives you advantages
not in child support.
And child support is one of those areas where you kind of get the shaft. And look, the reason behind it is just because
and
of
divorce court and marriage. I mean, should I keep going?
I mean, but
child support, go ahead.
The problem with it is when these laws were set up, they were set up in an era where women weren't largely in the workforce. And so this was a great fallback for them, that if your husband died or something happened to him or he left you and you've been taking care of kids all this time, right? We have something available for you. You know, and like I said, child support really didn't even become a thing until black people started taking advantage of the system. And then they started looking for these brothers like, where you guys at? Let's get it. And look, they're running debtors' prisons. I know
you
guys.
saying black people take advantage of the system, Joey Allen?
Well, you know, when we start getting access to what we pay taxes into. We pay. Do you know how long we pay taxes into a system we didn't even have access to?
Who's this we business?
Black folks.
All right.
But yeah, you know, I do think that it is set up for the woman to have the advantage in the situation, because in order to take your kids from the mother, you have to prove she's unfit. Well, who said I was unfit? Why don't I have the equal opportunity for the kids to go with me? And look, if the woman can't prove that I'm this horrible person, why isn't there any kind of mediation offered to say, hey, look, we're going to give you 2 months to say, show us some receipts to show us that you are providing. She's saying you're not. Yeah. We're going to give you a 2-month period to show that you are. And if you can continue to show that you are, there's no need for a child enforcement order.
So let me ask.
That can just go away. And listen, bruh, we can't act like professional athletes and entertainers aren't victims, son. Like, there are plenty of women who are out to get these dudes because they know the child support enforcement on that. Oh, baby, they are about to get paid. Evelyn Lozada, these ladies are getting paid.
So let me explain. Let me ask you to explain. So you mentioned you're involved with your baby's mother at the time.
Absolutely.
Okay, right on. So you're taking care of the kid or whatever. So however things go, they go. Then she decides to file child support order. Okay, so explain the whole they assume that you're just behind, so they make you behind?
Well, no, they say, okay, show us receipts for those 2 years. Well, damn, I was with her. And then this was back in the era where if I did send something, I'd be like, hey, what does she need? I'll send that. Yeah. Or I'll send cash, because I'm not a bank kind of guy. You know, I like cash, right? Sure. I'm old school. And so, but this doesn't leave a paper trail. And so if you don't have that paper trail, because there's nobody saying I wasn't doing the right thing, I just didn't have any proof because I wasn't aware that this was going to be an eventuality, that I was going to eventually have to pay child support.
So does she have to say he hasn't been paying for 2 years?
That's all she has to say, is that baby was born on this date.
Okay.
And this date is here. And so that gap in between there, if you don't have money orders, receipts, like bank, like if you don't have a paper trail in place, you're in the rears 2 years automatically.
So she couldn't say, I want child support from this point going forward. The system says the baby was born on this date, therefore he's behind.
The system says it. Absolutely. And again, this doesn't have anything. Is that how it
works?
Bro, listen, this doesn't have anything to do with my daughter's mother.
Sure.
She's an awesome person, and she did a great job raising my daughter. This just has to do with how the system is set up. And that's so, ladies, I want to take a lot of the emotion out of the argument because we love you. This has nothing to do with you. Like, this isn't a personal thing between us. This just has to do with how the laws have been set up. And if you want equality, we need to talk about equality, because I should be able to say, okay.
So hold on. So for real?
Yes, for
that's
real.
what it is. So you filed child support. You're together. You're taking care of the kid. The relationship.
We're in a relationship.
Whatever.
You know how relationships go.
She goes down there and files a child support order.
Right.
They say, well, the kid is 2 years. Bam, he's in the rears.
He's in the rears because I can't prove that I've been doing stuff that entire time.
She can't be like, well, he has been taking care of responsibilities. So from this point on, I want to enforce an order. They proactively make it retroactive and fuck you in the game?
Absolutely. Right out the gate.
Damn.
So right out of the gate, I was already, and when they enforced the order, I was paying, I think, almost $500 a month in child support. Right, so that was $500, and on top of what I was in the rears, I had to pay on too.
Okay.
So it was like $550, $560, something like that a month.
Yeah.
And so the messed up thing about it is that when I lost that good job, and then I took a job of the salary was way less than what I had before, that child support doesn't change. They still expect you to pay that amount. And listen, if you're a man that's single and you're out on your own, living in Kansas City, look, that's not
anywhere.
It's not cheap.
No.
I mean, I have to be able to survive myself if I can. I can't take care of anybody. And so it put me in situations, fam, where, hey, man, I got to make choices between food and gas. Like, I got to get to work, but I can't eat. You know what I mean? Like, because that child support order doesn't get changed. It doesn't fluctuate. It doesn't say, oh, he's making this amount, so we're going to adjust it according to what he's making now. No. And then every 3 years, she can go for a readjustment. Every 3 years, she can go to the court and say, hey, he's making more money. I need more money.
When can you do a readjustment?
I have absolutely no idea because there are no resources available to the guys. There ain't nothing for us. And it's deadbeat, get a lawyer. Well, God, look, ladies, I can't even have food or gas. How the hell am I going to pay for a damn attorney? And it's crazy, bro. And I know so many guys who are in that system who have been locked up, just for falling on hard times. Like, am I not allowed to stumble? I'm not perfect, man. Look, I wasn't a perfect dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
We all fall. We all make mistakes, right?
Man, sure.
But why is my fall looked at as me being a bum and your fall gets assistance?
Could it be because you're a fucking man?
Because I'm a fucking man. So this proves that there are advantages in the system that are already baked into the cake for the ladies, And this, ladies, is not personal. I love you, just so you know. You know what I mean?
Man, fuck all that. If it's the truth, man, let the truth be what it is.
But it is what it is, and so we do have to take a look at the child support laws and say, maybe there needs to be some adjustments to them. Let's just take a look at them. Man, listen, I know ladies that have multiple kids by multiple guys, get child support from all of these guys, and man, they don't really have to do a whole lot.
See, but go ahead.
You know what I mean?
They
don't have to do a whole lot. They're living off of this. This is their existence, and I don't think your existence should be from child support. Like, I have an issue with that. You know what I mean? And there's no telling what this money is being spent on. Fam, I know a guy that had a baby that wasn't his, found out the baby wasn't his, and the court is still making him pay child support. This ain't about fair for the man. Any judge should look at that and be like, oh, she tricked. Out of there. Dismissed. Yeah. Look, matter of fact, not only are we going to dismiss it, if there was any money paid because she committed a fraud, that's a fraud that she benefited thousands and thousands of dollars for. What would happen if you commit a fraud that you benefit thousands and thousands of dollars for?
You mean to tell me that these beautiful queens are using the system, Joey
There are
Allen?
plenty of beautiful queens out there.
Are you trying to tell me that single mothers are manipulating the system?
And it's not their fault.
And we need to put our arms around them.
Being a dick right now, being a troll. It's not them. It's just how the system is set up.
Fuck, it is them.
It's not.
It is them.
Fam,
It's
if
not
it was
them?
set up in reverse, we would take advantage of it too.
I wouldn't.
We would.
I would.
Men do.
I'm not the type of man I fuck
Men
with,
take
son.
advantage of all kind of shit.
Well,
Positions
sure.
of power. Like, are you?
But
kidding me? I know
the reason
creeps, son.
yes,
World class creeps.
The reason I wanted to interject there is that I agree with everything you were saying there, man. And we know that that's not every fucking woman, man.
Absolutely
but
not.
The point is that, like you mentioned, a lot of the men that you know that have encountered that and that have dealt with that and have had their lives altered because of that is because there is a culture of a segment of our community, and not just our community. It's anybody. Any woman can do this if she wants.
Absolutely.
If she doesn't want enough, right? That's not black. That's not white. That's mentality. And that's prevalent. And you just mentioned celebrity. That's prevalent in celebrity, right?
Oh, man.
That's crazy.
It's crazy how they could set a guy up like that. And listen, of course, there's some personal responsibility for the guy.
Hell yes.
Hey, dumbass, quit banging these thoughts bareback.
Quit shooting in them.
Quit shooting in them and doing all the extra shit. Protect yourself, and you don't have to worry about that. But it's still crazy that these women can prey on guys like that and then take advantage of the situation and get paid, boy, million. Look, Tiger, I mean, you know, he was married to her, but Jesus, man, this girl was a nanny when he met her, and then he paid her $250 million for some kids, son. Those kids ain't worth, listen, your kids ain't worth $250 million. You don't, those kids don't need $250 million to live. Are you kidding me? $1 million a year, those kids would be living a lavish lifestyle. They'd be living a high life.
But like the way they figure it out here,
They
is if
figure
that
it-
dad was in the house, if that dad lived with them.
Hey,
So
man.
a woman who has no intent on making a family gets the benefit of having a family by just having a child.
By just having a child, and then
crazy.
she can leave, walk out, and now he's on the hook. He's on the hook.
crazy.
Why is it when the woman does, you know, however the relationship ends, right? Why do you automatically get the kids? And why do I have to prove that you're a deadbeat in order to get joint custody of those kids?
That's a good question.
What evidence is there that supports the fact that women are so much better parents than men? I don't believe it.
That's a good
And by the way, I've been raised by some great women, and shout out to y'all. I love y'all to death. But
Joey,
that
quit
doesn't-
being scared.
It's not. I'm just, you know, I'm being fair. There are great women out there, and this isn't against
know
them.
that.
It's just how the
The
system
ones
is
getting
set.
mad, I mean, then just be mad.
Well, be mad. I don't give a damn. You ain't whooping me. Shit. That's my male privilege. You got damn it. I'm not taking no whoopings. But no, there are some fundamental things I think that we need to do with the child support laws. They do need to be changed. You know, maybe ladies, there is some personal responsibility on your part too to not get knocked up by a guy that doesn't want to take care of his kids. Why did you let him fuck you bareback and nut in you? I think you should think about that as well. You know what I mean? Did you get tricked? You didn't make him wear rubber? Well, how come you don't suffer any penalties for it? Your penalty is the kid? Are you kidding me? Give me the penalty then. I'll take the penalty, and you can pay me child support, and then I'll let you see the kid, you know, when you want to see the kid, and I'll dominate that. That is all controlled by women.
So let me ask you this. In your situation, did you have the option when you got that order, did you have the option to be like, well, I want custody, or I want joint custody, or I want the kid as well?
I'm broke with no. I mean, I was 22 at the time.
Yeah.
Struggling. I just moved back from South Carolina to Kansas.
Yeah.
And I was struggling. You know what I mean? I just didn't. I don't have resources like that. Like I said, I don't come from wealth.
Is there an option for a man to, when he gets that order, be like, well, I want custody? Because you didn't know that she was going to
Yeah,
file
but you gotta go fight that now.
Right. But so you didn't have.
Well, they send you the notice. You
Yeah.
get served.
Right.
You got a notice to appear.
Right.
And so you appear, but if you don't have counsel with you, then how far is that going to go? And so what happened is that I just accepted it.
Did you know that was coming? Like looking back then?
Yeah, no. Like I said, I got the order. I went to court.
Yeah.
They said that, you know, the order of enforcement is going to go through. And so at the time, and you know, I'm naive. I don't know the laws. I don't know what's going on. She has a counsel provided to her, right? She doesn't have to go out and come out.
Does she have a
for that.
counsel provided to her?
Let a woman go to and apply for benefits. Let a woman go apply for benefits.
So
They're going to know who's the daddy. And as soon as they find out who's the father, they're coming after you for that money.
Yeah.
Listen, if she apply for any benefits,
Yeah.
you're on the hook for it. They want that money.
well, I mean, so is she?
That's part of the issue is that states don't want to pay for women that are having kids and have to pay for the health. If they do, you better believe that child support order is coming, son.
Okay, so is she? When you say she's provided counsel, is she? I believe that's what you said. I don't know.
And, you know, listen.
Does she get a lawyer? Because I'm hearing women say, like Bates told me, she's supposed to come on, but maybe y'all can sit down and talk
Right.
next time. But she says that no. But see, Bates doesn't use the system neither.
And, you know, listen, in all fairness, you know, this was almost 20 years ago. I don't know all the particulars of the mother's
That's
side
a big
of the
one. So
story.
I don't know if
You
they,
know, and I'll inquire about that. How she
Let us
acquired
know.
counsel.
Like, let us
because
know.
look, at the time she's a single mother herself. I know she doesn't. Her family isn't super wealthy, and so you know if she had the money to do it, hey, more power to her. But I didn't, And so that already puts me at a disadvantage just because I'm poor, just because I lack resources. I'm already in a disadvantage. You know what I mean? And so that's not necessarily fair. That's not equality. That's money. That's just the way the system is structured. You know, it's kind of like the police. Like whoever calls the police first, the other ones go on to jail. Remember Mike Epps did that, right? Yeah. And so it's just how the system's set up. Whoever gets the phone first and calls out, the other one's going. You know, she got to the courts. If she had her lawyer, however her lawyer came about, she had it. They filed for it. And so, and I'm stupid. And so I think, okay, the child support order is going to go through. It's probably not going to be that much, right? And so I was like, you know what? Okay, I can't even fight it. I don't even have the means to fight it. And so I allowed it to go through. And then when it went through, and I started seeing the garnishments out of my check, I was like, oh my God. Not only the garnishments out of my check, but they also require you to cover insurance on the child as well. So that's an additional cost out of your paycheck. Luckily for me, you know, she's a great mother and she worked at a doctor's office. And so her health care was actually cheaper there. And she liked having her on her health care, so she was willing to go ahead and eat that cost. So shout out to her for that shit. I definitely appreciate that. But it's just, you know, that's the way the system is, right? They required me to not only provide that, the child support, the back child support, also the insurance, which, you know, is not cheap. And so, you know, when all that stuff comes about, you're looking at over almost $600 a month and all these different costs. So it's crazy.
And we're talking kind of about the system. So do you have any information on, so like if the mother is getting assistance, you have to, is that amount then put on what you owe?
You know, I don't know if that direct amount is put on what you owe, but that pressure, they want to alleviate the pressure of the state. So they're going to come after you.
Hard. It seems, right?
Hard.
It seems like the wheels turn differently
when that mom's on assistance. When the mom is on assistance, because they want, and again, ladies, this is your fault. This is just how the state is set up in order to kind of,
well, it's somebody. Well, it has to be somebody's fault if they're using the system. It's a few people's fault. It's the mama's fault and it's the daddy's fault.
Look, it's their fault. It's a product of, you know, look, men were pieces of shit for a lot of years when it comes to women. And, you know, we talked about that earlier. We can drill down into it, but for right now, I'm just going to say men, right? And so we didn't allow women for a long time to even be in the goddamn workforce. And when a lot of these, I know, and that's why I said, listen, I know, I said, we'll drill down into that. For right now, I'm just saying men, but we didn't allow them to be in the workforce. And so they were at home and they were at a disadvantage at that point if the man stepped out of that situation. But that's not the case today.
It's not 2018.
Yeah, right? Man, 2018, women are doing a whole lot better. And black women are leading in entrepreneurship, right? Like the stats are not as stacked against the ladies as they were when those laws were enacted. So it's just fair to say, hey, can we just revisit it? Can we just take a look at them and say, maybe some of these laws aren't exactly, like if you go file, ladies, why do you automatically get the kids? Let's just start there. Why do you automatically get the goddamn kids? Yeah. Why?
I think that there's probably an idea that the mother is the better nurturer, and I would agree in some spots.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
Only because I know what it's like to not have a mother for my children.
Absolutely.
And I can see how my mother.
I've been in that situation
before
myself.
Like my mom has a different nurturing ability than I do, and their mom has a different nurturing ability than I do. So I can understand.
But are we equal as human beings?
Equality is a myth in general.
But I think, but that's what women want.
Well, that's the talk.
You ladies want equality.
That's the.
And if you want equality, then you have to take what comes along with equality. And part of having an equal, fair system is, hey, maybe I should get the kids part-time and you get the kids part-time and there's no need to.
I'm getting scrambled, man. I had a point. I don't know.
Well,
I guess not.
I'll just keep rambling then. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, I think there needs to be some more equality in the system if this is what we want. This isn't chivalry anymore, ladies. This is just about equality. And so if I'm not a horrible person, I should be able to get those kids part-time too. Hey, look, why is there if he's working, she's working, I keep the kids on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Sure.
You have the kids on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
Sure.
And we split. Look, you pay for your bills at your house. I pay for my bills at my house. If there's any daycare cost, maybe we split that. But man, that's not $500 a month.
And I think it's fair to say that there's probably an idea with why the woman gets custody initially is because the idea is that she's a better nurturer. I'm not saying she should get custody first, right? But it's also because a lot of men don't show up. A lot of men lay down. A lot of young men say they feel overwhelmed because goddamn, that's a mountain. Goddamn, that's a mountain. And they don't show up. They don't go to court.
How well do we fare in the judicial system?
But you gotta go.
You do gotta go, but it's hard. But if you don't have the resources to go and you don't have...
I understand.
What do you do? Is there anything out there for God? I don't know. Maybe somebody can answer.
There's not.
There's nothing out there
that I know.
And so why is it automatically I'm assumed to be a low life bum because I'm struggling? God damn it, ladies.
Brother, you are preaching to the choir.
I know, but listen, they're going to give you food and housing and all kind of shit. I don't have access to those resources. So they tell me, fuck you, get a job and do what you got to do and work yourself into a goddamn grave. We don't care. Just do what you got to do. But ladies, hey, if you need some shit, come here. We got you. Yeah. That's unfair, ladies. I don't give a fuck how you think about it. That right there is an unfair system.
Let's talk to the young man. And you could talk to the young man, hopefully, if anybody listens, the young man that just got, let's say he's 21, he just got served. What should he do?
Fuck.
What should he do?
Well, first thing you need to do is you need to try to get a lawyer, bro. If you can't afford it, you need to do whatever you need to do in order to try to get an attorney. Because without an attorney, you're gonna get fucked. It's gonna happen to you. You know what I mean? At least with that,
let's say you don't have the money.
If you don't have the resources, you're in trouble. You're going to get what the system gives you.
Find the money. Find it, right?
Listen, the messed up part about that, Josh, is that then when we start talking about the larger picture, a lot of us are in some poverty-stricken situations, and we don't have the money for that shit.
Yeah.
And it's not that we're not going to stop fucking. We're not going to stop fucking. We're going to keep having babies and shit. But it still puts us in a situation where deadbeat, angel.
But why is that a given that, man, we're going to keep fucking? Of course we're going to keep fucking, but there's no rule that says you got to bring kids in.
Because
you can fuck as much as you want. You don't have to bring a kid in.
But again, when we start talking about that, we start talking about access to resources and decisions between
bringing a kid into Kansas City. It's on you if you want to.
It is. And listen, there is
that's 100%.
There is personal responsibility that needs to go on both sides.
You don't have to bring a kid in.
You don't have to. But we know as human nature, as human beings, we're going to bring kids in. But so we can't, that argument that's never going to be. It's always going to be the case that people are going to have.
But the thing is yes, it's beautiful for a couple to have a kid that want to bring a child in.
But all over the world, bro, we have people that are in some of the worst poverty-stricken situations, and these people still have children.
Let's talk about Kansas City, though. It's okay for couples to bring kids in, man.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing. I love to see.
Even if they're not married, that's still cool?
I don't care.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Just because someone's married doesn't mean they can't be in love.
Absolutely.
You're keeping people out of your business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's
but you can be broken in love too, right?
You can be broken in love too. But
and
you know what?
Broken in love
hold on.
presents different challenges.
Here's a problem with that. If you're broken in love, you can be broken in love and not bring a child into a broken situation.
You can. I agree, but that's not.
This is 2018.
But we know as a society that doesn't always play out that way.
So there's a term.
Let's just say.
Man. I got to finish this, bro. There's a term called beware of the bigotry of low expectations.
I understand that.
Beware the bigotry of low expectations. So as we as people begin to just accept that, hey, we're poor, we're going to keep making people we can't afford. We're poor. It's just going to happen. That's not about poverty. That's about a mentality.
That's not my argument.
I know ultimately it's not.
Right.
But I'm saying that it's important for us to talk about prevention and important for us to say you can have as much sex and have as much pleasure. I'm not a Puritan. I'm not a Christian, whatever. Have as much sex as you want, man.
Right.
But you don't have to bring a child in. And in a situation, and tell me what you think about this. You probably may disagree. Mm-hmm. In a situation where there is a casual sex situation, right? It's just a man having sex and a woman having sex. They both agreed that that's just what they want to do. They want to get down, Joey Allen.
They want to do the nasty.
So they have established a relationship or whatever. They agree that they're going to have sex without a condom.
Right.
Okay. They agree they don't want a child.
Right.
Okay. So they're free form having sex, enjoying life. She gets pregnant. She decides to keep it. Now she's going back on that. Hey, now I want to keep it.
Another little privilege there.
Now I want to keep it. So I'm interested to see what you think. And I agree that you can't make a woman get an abortion. That's her body.
Absolutely.
I agree 100% that you can't. But if that is the previous discussion, that you both have agreed not to have a child, you both have agreed to have unsafe sex, so it behooves the woman to go through all of those steps to make sure that she doesn't have a baby. That man has to trust her, okay? Right. Which is foolish for you men. But if he trusts her and she decides, well, I want to keep the baby, I believe she should be on her own.
Listen,
100%.
Listen, man, part of me agrees with you, right? Maybe there should be, she doesn't get as much child support or something like that.
She should get nada.
Hey, listen, because there's the personal responsibility part that comes into play. She did agree to go into that situation and because listen, at the end of the day, when it comes to sex, women control the whole fucking shebang bang.
Initially.
Ladies, you got all the power, 100%. Because you can say, hey, no glove. Oh, I'll just close these legs. If you open these legs, that's rape. So they have control over how it happens, how long it happens. If a girl tells you stop, hey, that's the end of the session.
Absolutely.
She can do it in 5 minutes or she could do it in 2 hours.
As it should be.
So they have complete and total control over that situation. So yeah, I think that.
Not only does she have control over choosing the guy, not only does she have control over
when it happens,
whether or not he uses
where
a condom,
it happens,
she has over 20 plus ways to prevent a pregnancy.
Before they even have an encounter.
And then when she has the baby, she can then give the baby up for adoption. She could take a plan or, take a plan B previously.
And I can't stop her from doing any of those things. I can't intervene and say, hey, I need you to keep that baby because I love that baby too, right? And I want you to, and there's no recourse for me in that situation. It's just her choice. And so she can make the choice to go ahead and keep it. And now guess who got to start paying for it? Yo ass do. And so, yeah, that's not a penalty to her to have the baby. Ladies, stop it. And what kills me is the argument of, oh, well, the baby got to have a place to stay. What, you was going to be homeless? Where was you sleeping at? You wasn't gonna have an apartment? You wasn't gonna have your own shit? Like, do you sleep on the street? So wherever you're sleeping, the baby just sleeps. But that don't mean I should have to pay half of your rent where you decided to live at. That's fucking crazy, bro. Like, that's what I said, bro. Look, I got a homeboy that got with a chick. The chick tells him when they got together that she was already pregnant. She was 2 months pregnant. And him being a dumbass dude was like, well, can't knock it up twice. So he went ahead and did what he did. Guess what? She wasn't pregnant. And then she got pregnant by him. So now he's on the hook for that. Now look, she committed a fraud, son. She lied to this guy. Yeah. She told him this wasn't the situation and that I'm already, I'm not with the guy no more. They was kind of, getting together a little bit. And he's like, hey, well, shit, we're going to kind of kick it and can't do it twice. And, I know it's kind of a nasty thing for a guy to do. But it happened. And he's still on the hook for that. He still has to pay child support, even though she lied to him. There are too many situations of guys under false pretense of signing the birth certificate. Son, they're getting lied to. They're getting tricked. And when you sign that birth certificate, that's it. They don't give a damn about nothing. Oh, you signed it? Oh, yeah. Boop, you the daddy. Even when my homeboy found out that the baby wasn't his, you're still responsible. Why is that guy still responsible? Because the state has already said, hey, if she's getting anything, what's best for the child is that somebody's taking care of that child. We don't care who the somebody is. We don't give a damn that she lied to you and tricked you into it. And how does that situation ever work in reverse for a guy?
It doesn't.
It can't.
It doesn't.
It literally can't.
So what I like to talk about, man, is like solutions and resolving the issue as much as you can. So you can't repair the dynamic between a man and a woman.
There just has to be legislation passed. I mean, look, men have to be. I think
we need to check our behavior before we start talking about legislation. It's much easier to change behavior than it is to change legislation.
You're
much
right
easier
about
to
that.
change behavior, but you got to change minds for that.
Can we maybe walk and chew gum?
How? You keep saying that. How?
I know, but
how are you going to go change the law, Joey?
Well, we do make up about half of this population.
So how are you going to go change the law about what law needs to change with child support and sell that today?
Well, we talked about a few of them. Why do you instantly, ladies, get control of the baby?
How are you going to sell that? That the man,
I know.
that it should
That's
be equal?
the issue, is that whoever that politician is going to have to go before the public and say, we're going to change the child support law so the men can start getting the babies.
You couldn't get a Democrat to do it.
Son, no.
You had to get a Republican to do it.
You definitely wouldn't get a Democrat.
You'd have to get a Republican or a Libertarian or somebody like that.
So, pretty much what we're left with
and
is
even they probably wouldn't do it.
Some really archaic, fucked up laws that mess us over in almost every situation. And we have to, I think that's where the personal responsibility has to start coming into play. Hey, fellas, you got to start wrapping your dicks up. And I'm glad that I didn't, because I have a beautiful 20-year-old daughter that I love to death.
Sure.
And that right there is why people are still going to do it, right? I got a daughter that is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Right. And I wouldn't trade this little girl for all the child support that I had to pay.
Yeah.
Right. And so even though I did make a mistake, that was the greatest mistake I ever made in my damn life.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so I can't give her up.
And that's great. And no one's implying that that's what you're saying with what
I know,
you're saying.
but out of a really horrible situation,
Yeah.
I think something really beautiful came out of it.
Sure.
Right?
That's
and
cool.
So, but will we get into a situation where those opportunities are no longer denied? And part of being a human being is struggling. Part of being a human being, what builds our character, what builds who we are, is having to go through adversity and learning how to deal with it and that kind of
There's
stuff.
better ways.
There
better
is.
ways than
There
child
is,
support court.
Listen, there are. Listen, we are 100% in agreement.
So that's what I'm saying. Like with that, we on the same page, man. I know you're a proud daddy, and you're a good daddy.
I do, and I love her to death.
But with this type of shit, it's the exception and not the rule in a lot of cases that things end up being okay. A lot of times it ends up not being okay.
Not being okay. And like I said, what happens when that guy, because when I lost my job was right around that time of the mortgage meltdown, and the economy started really tanking and people were shedding jobs left and right. And so I lost my job that was actually paying me enough that allowed me to still live on my own and keep my head above water slightly. Right? When I lost that job, and then there were no more of those jobs available, right? And then I have to get this job, and then, when you have a job, it's hard to sometimes get another. I had another family, I had another child at the time too. And so, that was difficult.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's no options for me. There's no help for me. There's nothing for me other than that.
Yeah.
And, if it works like that in reverse, if women are getting the benefits, ladies, that is unfair.
Yeah.
It just is, right?
Yeah.
And we have to be open and honest enough to admit it. If we're not, if ladies are going to stick their head in the sand and say, I don't care, I still want the benefits, okay, well, we're always going to be in this situation. Yeah. We're never going to move out of this.
And we have to, and I'm telling you, man, we've got to change behavior and change language and dialogue. And it's great that, you're a great daddy. We know that, you know what I mean? But in most situations that I know where a father has been locked up or a father has been close to being locked up, he never fucks with the kid. He never. So it's like, yes, in the normal narrative usually from.
But in the scenario you gave, he shouldn't have to, right?
No,
when they have consensual sex.
No. You're misunderstanding. This is what I'm very specific on. Like the other two ladies, Lindsay and Kathy, that were here, that's different. They were in relationships. They were wives.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they were in relationships. Like other than Kathy's, she had her two, I believe, with her first husband, and then she had another with, I believe, someone she was in a relationship with, right? That's completely different.
Absolutely.
Than someone who is a plenty of fish, just a common bust down. And that's all y'all are doing, and y'all are upfront about what you want and what you're there for, and you turn around and get pregnant.
Place time durations on relationships.
Time durations,
ladies are man. Have a question about that.
We're talking very specific between me. We know what the difference is between me being in a relationship with a woman and her just being a casual fuck, or me just being a casual fuck.
What's the length of time that a relationship?
You talk to the people. It's not a length of time. It's that I talk to the woman and I say,
is it one fuck,
or she talks to me.
What if we just have a couple, 2, 3?
What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
I'm just saying, no.
How do relationships work with you? I talk to the woman and I say, I love you. I want to be with you. Let's rock. That's what we doing. That's different from what you doing. You still up and I come through and do that and I leave.
I'm just telling you.
That's the difference.
What's going to get brought up in regards to that position.
If they can't comprehend that, I don't give a fuck if they understand, bro. I'm talking casual sex is different from a woman that was with a man and he leaves.
And he leaves, right? Especially if she's a housewife. Listen, shots out to the housewives. If you're a housewife and that man is taking care of you and the kids and you don't have any income, abso-damn-lutely, he should take care of you to a point where you can get out and get a job and get a career and do your own thing.
Because that's the setup of your family.
There should be a time period where it says, hey, ladies.
It's the setup of your family.
Look, you got maybe 3-4 years of him paying child support, alimony and stuff until gives you enough time in order to go get you a degree, go get you a different career field, whatever the case may be. But at this point, that's running out.
And then my point that I'm making here is that if it were that way, because a lot of children, whether we want to be honest about that, but a lot of children in our community are coming through casual fucking situations. It's not coming through out of relationships. It's casual fucking. And I believe that if it were set in the system, that if a woman decides to just bring that kid in, she would be on her own. She would be very careful with who she laid down with.
Goddamn right she would.
Very careful.
She would be like, listen, you ain't putting a rubber on, boy. You ain't getting none of this. You won't touch that. But look, put 2 on. Just in case, put 2 on.
And she's going to be on the pill.
Because
you understand the impact. It ain't just about a kid. You got to have food and feed them, and you got to do this and take them to school and buy them clothes and shit, dog. You got to instill confidence in them. You got to talk to them. You got to spend time with them. It's time.
But during the time that we're working on the personal stuff, we also should take a look at the laws and just say, hey, look, we're going to get on the personal stuff. But during that time, can we start here? Here's a very simple one. This is simple. Won't take hardly no effort. When the child is born, the birth certificate also has a form on there that's an affidavit that the woman is swearing, attesting that the man that signed it is the biological parent of that child. So that way, when it comes to find out that, hey, I'm not, the guy can get out of that because you lied on an affidavit. You broke. You said that this was his. That's an easy one. Then we can knock out a whole bunch of guys because, look, it's always mama's baby, papa's maybe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, until you get a DNA test or, you never really know for sure, right?
Yeah.
You just don't. There are some guys out there that got some kids that, look, that's your baby.
Mine. My boys.
Yeah. Big. That's your boy. Those are your babies, right?
Big heads, fat cheeks.
But there are plenty of situations where, man, that baby don't quite look like you. But you're saying it is, and what are you supposed to do? You have to almost accept that, right? And so I think initially they gave me an option to take a paternity test, and I refused it. And you know why?
Why?
Because I felt guilty.
Why?
Because she made me feel like, boy, you low down rat. You want a paternity test and you're not getting one for the baby that you currently got? Like, man. And so I backed off of it and I let it go. And don't get me wrong, my daughter is mine.
Sure.
Right? Sure. That's my baby. But I didn't take it. But they did offer it. You know what I mean? And
look,
look,
going to shame me from taking a test.
Listen, maybe there should be an instant paternity test.
How could you? Easy.
Maybe there should be an instant paternity test when the baby is born. That whoever you're saying is the father, we're going to go ahead and find out right now, ladies.
It's only fair.
It's only fair. Why not give him the information to make an informed decision before he signs the birth certificate? Take the paternity test. Oh, now that you have the legal rights as the daddy to sign it.
So how do we get to this? How do we change it?
It's never gonna fucking change.
How do we change? No, how do we change it? In front of, like, if the system's never going to change and the child support's never going to change, what language can we? What game can we give young men?
I mean, young men, we do have to.
You just got served, homie. Like, what do you do?
Yo, bro, you have to wrap up.
Yeah. She's already knocked up.
She's already knocked up.
He don't have the money for a lawyer.
Everything that you give, have a receipt.
He doesn't have money for a lawyer, so he ain't got.
Don't even worry about the lawyer right now. Everything that you give her money orders, keep the receipt. If the baby needs something, go buy it, keep the receipt. So that way, when you do show up to court, you can say, Your Honor, look, I've been taking care of my baby. Now, there's no need for this enforcement, and the court should honor that. If a court looks at it like, hey, this guy is providing for it, and he has proof that he's providing for it, that enforcement order should go bye-bye.
Now I'm hearing
until he can prove that that's not the situation.
I'm hearing from a lot of men that sometimes the judge don't care about your receipts.
Don't give a damn.
So I mean.
Because, okay, in some of those situations, maybe she went and applied for benefits.
You would tell him not to care about whether or not he can get a lawyer? Like, don't trip off that. Just give her money orders?
First of all, keep all your receipts, bro. You're going to need them. Even if you get a lawyer, even if you have a lawyer, that is ammunition for that lawyer to go take and shoot her with, right? So keep all your goddamn receipts, everything. I don't care if that baby need a passy. Go get that thing. Keep the receipts of that joke.
What I would say to any man, and of course, man, I haven't been in the situation. It's easy for me to say what I think you should do. I'm lucky.
It's tough, man.
But
is.
What I would say to any man, and I have talked to men before, they get that notice. I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. I'm down. I'm like, bro, you need to get a lawyer. Now,
listen,
if that means
you can afford it, get it.
Now, if you say you can't afford it, my question would be, well, what can you afford right now that you're doing every day? Are you smoking? $100 worth of weed? Are you buying clothes? Are you lightweight tricking on the weekend? Are you fresh? Are you like? What could you do?
Absolutely.
Do you need to move in and live on somebody's couch? Do you need to humble yourself?
And there are some situations like that where a
lot of them.
There's a lot of them out there that are like that.
Because men, a lot of men, bro, like keeping it real.
But there's also a lot of women who are pimping this, and so
we know that. We know that.
So let's just change this. If we change the system, we can also start to change the behavior.
The behavior, you can change your behavior immediately if you embrace what you need to change, man. But you can't change the system immediately.
Look, we just talked about it. You said that if two people have consensual sex, that the guy's not on the hook for it if he gets pregnant.
In my world.
In my
misogynist world.
In your misogynist world,
right.
Let's just take that. Boom. Not on the hook for it. Damn it, I lost my train of thought.
Good. I'll keep rambling.
You keep rambling.
But the point I'm making is that you can't sit up here and complain about being taken advantage of. We know how the system is. We know how it's partial. But I'm saying, but you can't sit up here.
Hold on before I lose it again.
Go ahead.
Because I forgot it. Okay. So we can start to, because you said if he's not on the hook, it's going to change her behavior. She's going to say, man, fuck that. You're not getting none of this without no glove. Right. And so, yes, if we do adjust the system, we can start to alter behavior. If women knew that if you get pregnant by a celebrity, hey, this ain't going to be no meal ticket for you, baby girl. You're not getting millions out of this deal. Yeah. We're going to give you enough to put you in an apartment. The baby's going to get paid for college, all this other kind of stuff. But you're not getting $20,000 a month. Are you crazy? Yeah. There ain't a baby in the world right now that needs $20,000 a month to survive.
What's the point you're making?
My point is that if we do look at the system and we do change some fundamental things about the system.
How you gonna change it, Joe?
I know, goddamn.
So the point it brings me back.
It's hard.
Brings me back.
It's a heavy lift.
It brings me back to a man who legitimately doesn't have $1,000 for an attorney or $700 for a retainer, but he's got money to smoke weed. He's got money to drink. He's got money to take bitches out. You got money to fuck around and get fly clothes.
Well,
you got
let's
money
just
to
take my situation.
No, hold on. You got money to get your hair cut, but you want to lay up and pretend that you don't have money for a fucking attorney. Either you care about your children or not. Either you're going to let this bitch punch you in the face talking about what you're going to pay, when you're going to see him, when you're going to do this, when you're going to do that. Either you're going to let her do that or you're not. And I've known men to sit up here and get checks for $250 and find ways to make money, but they wasn't going to allow that to be dictated to them. And it's unfair that they had to work that much harder. But I think we need to start talking like that. Don't let them do that.
Absolutely. And listen, I'm with you 100% on that end. Absolutely. Hey, brother, do whatever you can do. I was just ignorant to the system. And a lot of it was my fault. It wasn't that she's not to blame for it. A lot of it was me. I was young. I had just had, I got in another relationship and just had Elijah. And so, it was right around that time. And so I have another family that I have to support. I'm paying bills in this household that are kicking me in my you-know-what, right? And so there's just not cash laying around. I wasn't just out tricking sack chasers, right? Sure, it just wasn't cash laying around for me to just go out and blow $1,000 on an attorney. Yeah. It just wasn't, And so, again, not my daughter's mother's fault, not her fault at all. That's just the way the system is set up, and we do at some point have to find some way to adjust it. We do. Yeah. The thing about it is, like I said, it's just going to be so hard because the minute you start talking about it and you're a man, you're a piece of shit because I know, but that's just how the argument's going to get framed.
I got my man.
It's just like how it gets framed when you can't take care of your kids. You're a bum. You're a deadbeat.
The only people who want to frame things like that, which kind of leads us into other discussions. The only people that want to frame things in that way, or you want to limit speech, or you want to tell people what not to say, are people who don't have a fucking argument, man. So if someone looks at what I've said thus far and says, "Oh, well, you're just a piece of shit," that's fine. That's their opinion.
Absolutely.
That's their opinion.
But we do put ourselves in these corners. When these arguments come up, everybody instantly retreats into their corners. And people are going to go into their corners based on their personal experiences. My personal experience with the shit is it was fucking terrible. Yeah. It'd be like you if we start talking about divorce and shit like that. You're going to be like, fuck, man, that was horrible. Like, I don't ever want to go through.
It was pretty chill.
But I know a lot of guys who've had crazy, terrible experiences with, listen, man, I talked to a few pro athletes and listen, man, they're scared to death of women.
They should be.
Look, they're like, they got to get prenups. They got to do the most.
You have to.
Because you could have a person that ain't helped you win shit. Hey, look, man, some of these guys met these girls. And listen, part of this is you guys got to know when you're dating out of your fucking league. She ain't there for you. She's there for the situation that you're providing.
They got to know.
Boy, listen, she ain't there for you. Boy, you ugly. She ain't there for you, son. Some of these beautiful women that was with some of these monstrous looking dudes, she's not there for you. She's there for the situation.
But, I mean, that's another thing, man, is that someone who, take a guy who's a professional football player, and the level of excellence it takes to go from high school to go to college, to play good at college.
3 years, not get hurt.
And even if he does get hurt, he has to figure it out, right?
Keep your grades
you got to go from. And if you take guys who are in college, some guys who are good in college go to the pros and don't even really play. So if a guy can go from college to get to the pros to be that good, to be a standout athlete,
right?
Think of that level of excellence. Now, what's her level of excellence? What's her level? How does she even get that close with that man?
She got chosen.
She got chosen.
She got the rose.
So just because of her pussy.
And she ain't helped him win nothing. She
just
ain't
because of her pussy, she's on the same level of a man who's had to go all through these different levels of status.
Tiger had to give a nanny $250 million of his money. That girl was a goddamn nanny, man. Look, I know there are great mothers out there. I want to say to all mothers out there,
get the fuck
your
out
job
of here,
ain't
Joey.
worth $250 million. Hold on, no. Here, let me finish. Your job ain't worth $250 million fucking dollars.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
See, you thought I was going. Your job ain't worth $250 million, ladies. Sorry, it ain't. I don't give a damn what you say. You ain't that good of a goddamn mama for $250 million. That's crazy.
Bro, and I got an 8-year-old and a 13-year-old, bro. I would watch kids. You know what? It's not that hard. Get out of here. It's not that hard. We're
That's
gonna
what
wait.
I'm saying.
It's not that
You
difficult.
take care of 2 boys, you're good. That you do what you got to do.
It's
You
not that
handle
hard.
business. It's difficult. It has its tough spots, but
Here's another
it's not. We can do this.
Well, one of the things I always like to say, like just in the dating world, if you have to go over a woman's house and her house is always messy and she always blames the kids, and it's always, oh, my kids are
No, you
really
just have a
messing up the
dirty
house.
house.
Like, listen, how old are your kids, dude? Like, if your kids are or anything like 5, 6, 7 or above, then they can pick up their messes. They can clean
my
up.
son's mom, we lived in a hospital. Okay? He didn't have toys laying around. No, you pick those toys up and you go put those toys in your room.
As a little boy, he
As
could
a
pick
little
up his own
boy,
shit.
Listen,
Right.
bed made like, no. She didn't run her house like that. So that's just you ladies.
Yeah, they're just-
And look, me personally, bro, if I go over a girl's house and her house is junky or dirty or something like that, ladies, you might not get a return call from me. Especially if I go in your bathroom and your bathroom's dirty. Done deal.
It's the kids, as a single mom, it's really
listen,
tough.
I go use the bathroom. I go use the bathroom and I'm looking in the shower. And you lift that toilet up and I'm looking and if that thing ain't right, man, how are you getting clean in this dirty bathroom? For me, that's almost a deal breaker. Like you would have had to been bad, Rihanna bad, for me to be like, I'm gonna go ahead and accept this.
And Rihanna's all right with me.
She is
Woo!
so bad.
Yeah, so is there anything that we're missing before we wind up, man?
I don't think we're missing anything. I think it's just a matter of, we're all going to go into our corners. By and large, women are going to go into their corner and men are going to go into their corner because we have different experiences when it comes to this whole system. And it's going to pretty much stay this way. The only thing that's going to change is you're right. Men have to get together and we have to say, hey, fellas, we got to do better. We just have to. You do better and you have a better life. You know what I mean? It's just that simple.
We don't have to go into
I
other
talk to my
corners, though.
son about it all the time. Boy, wrap your shit up. He's
Yeah.
17. He'll be 18 this year.
Yeah.
He's dating. He's talking to little girls, and it's about that time, right? It's going to happen at any minute. And so I stress to him all the time, please wrap it up. I don't want you to go through the experiences that I went through. I want you to be able to choose when that happens. I want you to be able to get college out of the way. I want you to be able to get you a career before you decide. I want you to be able to do it what I feel would be a better way for you to do it. Take your time, find the right woman. There are right women out there that you can build a great life with that'll be great to you all your life.
And there's
shit.
right now women, and you don't got to get them pregnant.
And you got to know the difference between the two.
Gotta know the difference.
And you got to know to wrap your shit up.
And the other thing I wanted to mention, man, is you do mention us going into separate corners. And that is very true because we're tribal, we're team oriented.
We are very tribal.
And we want to go into our separate corners when it comes to sex and gender and race and politics and all those things. And I understand that to a degree.
Right.
But I think in order for there to really be progress, man, we got to fuck the corner. Let's just talk, man. Let's
That's
look
hard.
at it. It is
That's
hard.
hard.
It is hard, but it's painful and it is tough. But I think it's important.
It's very
and
important.
it's okay for you to continue to have what you still, man. You got your jersey on. That's what team you're on. Cool.
Right.
I'm on this team. Cool. But fuck it, man.
But
Let's talk.
And like
Let's
I said,
talk. Without that,
I'm fair because I do believe that the child should be taken care of.
Who doesn't?
We're not saying that we're not
Who doesn't,
for
man?
doing something for the child. We're just simply saying the way the rules are set up, man, they're a little fucked up, and we need to take a look at them and revisit them, and maybe amend them a
will
little
never
bit.
ever hear me cape for a deadbeat daddy. You'll never hear
Never.
me say that a man or give an excuse to a man.
But
who can't.
I think too many times though men get called deadbeat dads when man he's going through a
100%.
hard time, man.
When has a woman
We're not
ever been-
allowed to stumble. Look, even mentally and emotionally, and I think this is something that the black community really suffers from is that when we get weak, we're looked at as a punk, man. Like when we need help, when we're emotionally down, there's not the same kind of
You're not
support.
allowed.
You're not allowed.
You're not allowed. Let me give you an example of that.
I battled
Hold
depression.
on.
I went through.
Me too.
I went through some days where, man, not being here started to sound appealing, right? Your life got hard, and so I went through all of that stuff at the time that I'm going through all of this other shit, and life's hard, man. Life's a bitch, but for me, there's no help. No fucking help. No one cares. You're a man. Suck it up, punk. You're going to be all right, work 4 jobs if you got to. That's just what they expect of you.
Men aren't allowed to just be tired.
to be tired.
I mean, because if a woman's tired, like, oh, she's tired. She's a mom. She's a struggling mom, and she's tired. She's a single mom. Don't you love our single mothers? Don't you appreciate them? Yes, ladies, we know it's a lot of good single mothers out there we appreciate. When's the last time you gave a fuck about a man being tired?
Being tired. Or not having
Don't nobody
money.
care if you tired.
Listen,
if you ain't got no money.
A lot of relationships is transactional anyway,
here.
because a man is, Chris Rock said it. Did you see his new comedy show?
No.
He said a man is only loved when he can provide. If he can't provide or bring nothing to the table, he ain't shit.
Which is kind of fair.
Mama is loved regardless, son. Even if she can't provide, as long as she's mama, she's taken care of. Look, Mother's Day, the world goes all out for Mother's Day. Father's Day roll around, we get a tie. Or we get a pack of socks or some bullshit, right? That's just the way it's set up, bro. And we have to be open and honest about the fact that it is set up unfairly. And we may have done it to ourselves as men. We may have done it to ourselves.
And like lastly, we need to stop idolizing motherhood or fatherhood in general. You're not a status because you had a kid. You haven't done anything great. It's your biological process.
It's like
fucked,
shitting and pissing. You don't get any credit for
You're not a great person because you had a baby, man. You have more responsibility now. But too often there's women. There's a saying that a woman who just gets pregnant. A woman who has shit going on never just gets pregnant. It's almost always a woman that has nothing going on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you can automatically, especially in the black community, be elevated to status just because you're a mama. Oh, she's a young mother. She's a mother.
Right.
And that's not helping our community at all.
I think there is an element of that.
Look at you agreeing with me, Joey Allen.
You're turning me into a dickhead. No, I think there is an element to it, but I also think it's because, listen, man, it's been a process. This didn't happen overnight.
We're going back to 64, huh?
We might go back to 64.
This is a great place to end it.
But
we gotta go back to segregation.
No, we're not going back there. But when we do have to talk about the past and how these laws got put into place, and you talk about it, how liberal policies
100%.
were put in. Those policies were enacted in the past. And so occasionally, my young brother, my young Padawan,
yes, sir.
We do have to go back to the past to explain what's going on in the present. And so in those situations where those liberal policies of here's all the money you need, ladies, but you can't have a man in the house,
right,
that impacted our community in a negative way.
100%.
And it may have been unintended consequences. It may have been something that nobody foresaw. Yeah. It may have been some shit that was done on purpose to fuck us off. Right. It could have happened, but it did happen. And we have to, acknowledge it. We have to acknowledge when it happened and trace the steps of how we got here.
And the thing is like intent is something.
Don't you discount history?
No, not at all, sir. Intent is something interesting to discuss, and it's even sexy to discuss to find out what intent is and really look at it. And I love having those discussions. But in terms of like real change and real things happening, you can never prove intent. I can never really prove intent, right? But I can have an objective conversation about it. Have an objective conversation about, okay, what can we change here? Okay, so these liberal policies put us here, but is this something that needs to change? Because the black community right now, our narrative is the strong black mother who's a great parent and a deadbeat daddy. That's the narrative in the black community.
I think that's a narrative in all communities.
That's fair.
The mother is
because white men are getting fucked over in that child support.
And I know a bunch of those guys that have been in that situation and been fucked over. I know guys that have been to prison. And why are these guys going to prison for failure to pay child? They'll take your driver's license. Listen, this is how crazy the shit is.
Yeah.
If you can't pay, they'll fucking take your driver's license, which is going to inhibit my ability to pay you dickheads. If I can't drive back and forth to work, how the hell am I going to pay? Like, that's how insane it's gotten, right? And it's largely because if women get benefits, we want them off these benefits.
So I'm saying we got to, like, as far as our discussion in general, does it need to change? We know that there's great single mothers out there.
I think we need to change. I think we can change some stuff on the margins that will help to drive that behavioral change.
Does the behavior do we need to start talking about the behavior change?
Absolutely.
We need to start talking about it and
we need to start talking about personal responsibility. We talked about it. One of the keys for us to protect ourselves is protect yourself. Wear a goddamn rubber. Every time. Don't trust her. Boy, she tells you she's on the pill. Don't believe that shit.
If you're a white man or a black man or whatever type of man with some money and some influence,
Oh man,
you should
listen,
be very careful.
You need to make her sign like non-disclosure. Like, listen, no, for real. You need to have one of them in your pocket at all times. You know what I mean? Like, it's really extra. I almost wouldn't want to be a super wealthy, famous guy. Man, that would be some really like.
Because you don't know why they like you.
You have no idea. And like I said, there's a bunch of ugly dudes in Hollywood that got some baddies on their arms.
God bless them.
And boy, she don't
celebrate
like you.
that. I celebrate
do.
it.
Hey, more power to you, but boy, she don't like you. She likes your money. She likes
enough.
the lifestyle that you provide.
Fair trade.
Fair trade. We need to get into, and I know it's a sidebar, but at some point, I do want to discuss this Obama thing with you.
Well, Obama thing.
Well, you have some, from our previous conversations, you've had some not so positive views of Obama.
I don't give a fuck about Obama. I mean, Obama's cool as a symbol, but I'm not even like interested in like talking about Obama. Like,
really?
Obama's cool.
He's cool?
He's all right.
Well, last time we talked about it, you were kind of like...
When did we talk about it?
A couple times, just here and there, just kind of off conversations, and I got the feeling that you were like, fuck Obama.
Yeah, I mean, like any other president. Yeah. It's not a big deal to me. You know what I mean? I mean, I understand how he is as a symbol, and there are some good things that he's done. But again, like when I talk about presidents or I talk about policies or I talk about parties and shit, bro, I don't come from a corner. I know what the fuck I am. Right? But I don't look at a position. Now, I've got them glasses, and I can put them glasses on when I need to look at it from that perspective.
Right.
But for me to really get a good view of it, I take my jersey off and I really look at what it is, to look at everything, to make sure I'm not being tricked.
Yeah, I'm not one of those guys that, I'm definitely not a liberal. I have a lot of conservative ideas and stuff about myself too.
Most of my views.
And I think most sane human beings have some conservative ideas, some liberal kinds, you know what I mean? Some both kind of thing. But yeah, I thought you had a completely different view of it, because I know a lot of guys that are like, fuck Obama, and you know, it's kind of weird to me that people take that position sometimes.
What?
You know, they get mad that he didn't do this and he didn't do that and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's like...
Hey, Trump came in and kind of showed you how to do some shit, huh? Trump came in and just kind of got some shit going.
Trump hasn't done shit, though.
Hey, Trump kind of doing whatever the fuck he wants to do. While Obama's like, Obama can't do this, Obama can't do that.
He was handicapped.
Look at what Trump's doing.
He was handicapped.
Trump's sending motherfuckers back.
Well,
Obama was okay with that.
Obama actually deported more people in his presidency than anybody.
So far. That's why I don't fuck with Obama.
There's almost no more to deport. But listen,
I don't fuck with Obama because of that, too.
There were some people that needed to be deported.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. But I don't fuck. I mean, bro, I'm not into symbols I'm not into symbols, bro, at all.
But Trump's a piece of shit.
And no doubt. You think I'm a Trump guy? I think he's funny. No. I think he's funny. I like the idea of him. I think he's funny.
He's
but no.
so absurd. It's like I laugh when I watch him.
He's funny, bro. But he exists because of this weird politically correct thing that we're doing. He exists because of that, bro. He's the president that America fucking deserves.
He is.
Because most Americans are dumb.
Most Americans are dumb, uninformed, bigots, borderline racist.
But celebrity fuckers. That's what Americans are more than anything else. And you know what? They're celebrity fuckers, and they love winners. That's it. They
even the perception of winning.
They admire
even though they ain't winning shit. They love the perception of it.
They admire winning more than they admire integrity.
Absolutely.
But we're gonna come back. You want to talk to a girl about
I do.
This child
I would love
business?
to. I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
absolutely.
gotta find one. And
hey, look, and ladies, I bring it. You know, if you have an opposite opinion on it, I would love to hear it. You know, because I do take into account you may have had a different experience, and maybe your experience wasn't the most pleasant out there, and I accept that. But I'm also willing to challenge you on that bullshit too.
Okay, all right. Hey, well, we'll be back here at Barbershop Talk. I also want to talk to an attorney also. And talk about actual solutions and resolutions.
You know, I know a brother that used to do a lot of legal work and stuff, and he just recently became a judge, and I know him through another guy. So I'll reach out to him and see if he has any information, if he knows anything, if there's any, you know, that he can kind of point us in.
Let me know, G.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming, man.
My God.
All right, man. We'll be back.
Yes, sir.